Okay, we're a minute or two away from starting this. Both players confirming they're ready, and also in the chat log here, congratulating each other on that game, because it was a very exciting game. It was certainly not a one-sided ownage the entire time.
Yeah, it really looked to me in the beginning like Stork was going to take him out. Really great play. And Stork, he is second best Protoss in the world, man.
Yeah.
So it could happen, especially, that map, one of Jaedong's best. Coliseum 2. It's a good map for Zerg, man. It's pretty hard to attack them, as I'm sure you know.
I know all about that. I've played a lot of games on ICOP where I can never penetrate their defenses. So, it might be tough for Stork, but then again, we got to see what kind of opener Stork does. He's great with picking up the best possible opener against his opponent on whatever map that may be. And look, if Stork can get the position he was at in Game 1 and just keep it, not throw it away, he could easily win the next 2 games and get the gold.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, he is Stork, man. He is just an absolute monster, as we saw at the beginning of that game. Even though he made one blunder, it's all Jaedong needs.
Okay, we've started the game. We're in cross spots here. Stork at the bottom right. Jaedong at the top left.
And Jaedong with that diagonally scouting Overlord that we've seen before on stage here. Maybe to look for proxy gates.
Certainly.
Maybe just to, send it to the furthest position first so he can get really good intel no matter where he is. But that is where he's scouting. It's like he's a hacker, man. Always send his Overlord to the right position. G5 in the kid.
Yeah, G5, Phoenix, and Stork. Or in Jaedong, excuse me.
Yeah. Always scouting their opponent first, man. I don't know how they all do it.
Man. Now, most of the time we see Fast Expo here. Forge first Fast Expo, I should say. We have seen one gateway rushes, but we've also seen some double gating, kind of weird.
Yeah,
I don't know if you should double gate against Jaedong. Yeah, that's right.
Maybe he watched that game and was like, whoa, that is absolutely so wild. One of the best ways to beat Jaedong is actually, some people have realized this, you do a weird cheese he hasn't seen before.
Right.
Because Jaedong, he will lose to anything once, man. Anything once. You could go, Ghost Wraith against him one time and beat him, but...
We're going to see Gateway first.
It is a Gateway.
Are we going to see the second Gateway first?
I don't think so. It looks like a Forge would fit perfectly.
Yeah, I think you're right. We might be a one Gateway rush now. If he does the one gate rush, not going to be as effective because Jaedong's in cross spots.
Yeah.
But Jaedong is going for a hatchery first. So the rush could still be somewhat effective, although ideally he'd want Jaedong to be in the top right or the bottom left so that Zealot doesn't have to travel as far of a distance.
Yeah, and I think he's probably not going to get any drone kills. We saw some drone kills yesterday when Bisu did this against Cole, but that was Bisu against Cole. This is Stork against Jaedong, and I think Jaedong is going to run those drones just right. I'd be surprised if he lost more than one drone to this rush.
Okay, spawning pulls up, and I think what we're going to see next is Pylon from Stork, and then the Nexus. What this is that you're applying the pressure to your opponent, so he can't attack you. Meanwhile, you're expanding.
Yep.
And if you do stuff right, you actually get ahead because you picked off drones.
Yeah. So Stork right now knows exactly where Jaedong is. His probe has gone in there. The first Zealot on the way. But I think that scouting drone of Jaedong actually passed the Zealot, so he should know that it's coming for him.
Okay. We do see the Zealot on the way to drone, entering the base. So now we know for sure that Jaedong knows what's going on. This is not an uncommon build on this map.
No, not at all.
Here we go. Zerglings are probably going to hatch right when the Zealot gets there. That's why this build can be weak if your opponent's in cross spots. So you basically have 2/3 of a chance of having this be successful just based off locations.
Yeah.
And odds are part of StarCraft. That's why we have so many top StarCraft players who play poker as well, such as Elky or Reckle.
Yep, and we see that already. He's dodged perfectly with those drones. And, being cross spots, as you said, not helping Stork out with this rush at all. I don't know if any of those drones are even really damaged yet. The Zealot looks like it's going to end up doing pretty much nothing.
Yeah, this is, I think, a complete failure if he doesn't get a drone. Is he going to get one? Oh, no.
Oh, man, this is Jaedong.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. Stork going to keep the rest of the Zealots back home. He's going to have to, make them sit just like that, make it Zergling tight, throw up a cannon behind it, and be safe to attack.
So Jaedong with a little bit of an edge right now, not too much of one. He is going to try to slip out one scouting probe here. You really got to figure out what's going on with Jaedong because he will not always just do the macro game. As we saw when he beat Bisu in game number 2 here in the semifinals, he just went ahead and went for the quick kill.
Yeah.
And it was very effective.
You know, if he does kill your scouting probe, that is one scary thing about Jaedong. He is not scared to switch up his entire game plan and just all in you. And
absolutely.
That is part of his style that, you know, he's been known for quite a while. He is such a decisive Zerg. And that is something so important as a Zerg player. You know, your units all have so few hit points, and it's so micro-intensive, you have to be extremely decisive.
Looks like we've got the scouting probe coming in here. He does pick it off, but at least he's going to know that his opponent's going 4 hatches. Rather than set, occasional 3-hatch build we see so often with the early layer. He's going to get a few more drones here. Probably going to go for the macro game again, unless we see something wild and crazy come up in here in a minute.
And again, we see the Stargate going up with a Citadel. Probably going to pop out a Corsair or 2, get some DTs, see what he can do with those. The DT drop again? No, I don't think we're going to see that on this map.
We might even see a timing attack here with some Zealots. We just see the +1 pretty early.
Oh, is he getting +1 already? Yeah,
okay, there it
is. That is actually a really good build, but the Overlord's sitting there watching it. So, that will take away part of the surprise.
Right, you're totally right. He's getting a little bit of training here. That's a neutral creek colony if you're unfamiliar with this map. That was made so that Zerg wouldn't have to put a hatchery at the entrance of their base in order to get second colonies up to defend. Of course, he's just going to get rid of that so he can help with the flow of units which are going to be coming out of his base in the mid-late to late game.
Yep. Now another Overlord just floating right through the main base. Going to get rocked by this Corsair. But, he gets a lot of scouting done by it. And Stork just deciding, I'm going to kill the Overlords that are near me first and then go over. And oftentimes, Protosses choose instead to go scout first and then come back and get those Overlords later.
Right. Scout first, especially actually hold that thought here. We did see 3 gateways. I don't want to get behind on what's going on. We have the Hydralisk General here as well. So the timing attack could potentially be effective. It's going to depend on whether or not he can get lurkers in the right spots. But one thing about Speed Zealots is you can run by the lurkers. Lurkers don't have a ton of range. They're just burrowed. It could deal damage in a line formation all the way across.
Yeah, Speed Zealots can be really good against this lurker defense. You have to have very good building placement to help block those Zealots off. You know, use some drone drills, use really smart Zerglings to slow them down, because the more hits the lurkers get, the worse the Zealots are. But as you said, they just run past so quick. Oftentimes, if it's an open area, they're only going to get hit one time. Yes,
this is very true. We do see the Sunken Colonies up here. I think the placement of these 2 is pretty good, actually. Actually, all 4 of the Sunken Colonies coming up here, pretty nicely placed.
Yeah, Jaedong not missing a beat. He sees exactly what's going on. There's going to be some sort of timing attack that Stork wants to hit. Sunken's very needed.
Now, one advantage you can get if you do the Speed Zealot attack, and by the way, +1 is only seconds away from finishing, is you can expand yourself, because Zerg's going to have to defend. This way you can get your 3rd base up before you get up your robotics facility. And that way you end up with 3 gases right away. In Protoss, they really need that Vespian gas. That can power your army so you can stop them from getting the 4th base. And stopping them from getting the 4th base, key on this map. We see the Zealots moving in now.
They do have +1, so they're going to be excellent against these Zerglings and Hydras. But good placement here by Jaedong. Lots of Zerglings, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty close battle here. But the Zealots overpowering for now and running right through into the main base.
Nice timing attack here. Jaedong has been penetrated. He might be going for the Spire. He's got to take out these Zerglings first. He's got the micro perfectly. Jaedong, of course, can continue to send out more and more Zerglings to deal with. But remember, there's also a Corsair taking out Overlords as well.
Yeah, that's part of the beauty of this build. That Corsair gets a lot of free kills, and the Zerglings hatching just in time. That was really nice defense by Jaedong in the choke. Even though he lost his units, he made it very close because he did so much damage to those Zealots.
The Dark Templars on the move. Now remember, the Overlords have been relocated here. You can see Jaedong suddenly realizes that, in fact, he is going to have a Dark Templar in his base. He's going to try to get us around. Stork probably not going to budge. Had he actually gotten that one Overlord, this game might be quite different.
Yeah, he would walk right in there, no problem. But if he goes to check the expansion, that's probably an Overlord making right there. But we don't know for sure. He does not even go to check.
Stork going to try to play it safe. Now, had he gone down there and there was an Overlord, he would have been trapped in that area, surrounded by Zerglings, losing the DT. What surprises me, actually, is that Stork didn't expand when he was doing the timing attack.
Yeah, it looks like he wants a second timing attack follow-up. He's making a lot of High Templars right now. A little bit weird. Maybe a Dragoon High Templar attack? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about this. Normally you make cannons and Nexuses and Templars, so then when it's time for Zerg to turn around and attack, you you're okay, and then you use the Dark Templars to control the map and stop them from taking that 4th base. But, you know, there are variations to this build, and Stork might be tailoring this to the way that Jaedong plays the game.
Indeed, he may. You know, he might want to switch stuff up a little bit, not play the expansion game. Jaedong is the best macro Zerg of all time. So, you know, that is a good insight there.
Scouting with the Scourge here. I'm kind of shocked, again, that we didn't see any expoing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and I don't see any observers out there quite yet either. So now Jaedong is going to kind of slow him down. So if he wasn't planning on getting observers and attacking, now he has to get observers and expand. It's
yeah, this is curious. However, this may, in the long run, prevent Jaedong from getting a 4th base, because Jaedong is, of course, going to be cautious about expoing. Jaedong did suffer some losses with the Zerglings there. However, you know, at the same time, Stork didn't really kill a lot of drones with that Zealot attack, and it's a lot easier to replenish your Zergling supply really quickly than your Zealot supply in this matchup.
It's quite true.
That's one of the burdens for Protoss in this matchup. I mean, you just don't get a lot of units. Doesn't mean it's unfair, but it's just what happens. He is going to trap these lurkers here. Here's a small blunder here by Jaedong. I feel like Yakety Sax will be playing while these... While these lurkers are running away.
That's about it. If one lurker does burrow up, he's going to need to grab a observer pretty quickly here. And Jaedong, I mean, his economy is looking pretty sick. He's got a lot of hatcheries. He's got good tech. And Stork's 3rd base is just so slow, man. I don't understand what the thought process was here.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious about that as well.
A lot of mutas popping out. Probably going to try to get in here and either harass a base, like an expansion on the high ground with not enough cannons, or especially snipe some High Templars.
Okay, the Muta's now moving out. Now you got to keep your Templars safe. The whole goal with the Mutalisks is to pick off High Templars, allowing the Zerg's Hydralisks to be much more powerful than they would be normally. This is kind of the new age way to play Zerg.
And here they come. 1 down, 2 down.
Oh, 3 down.
Huge.
Very successful attack there by Stork, assassinating the High Templars. Make it 4, and a job well done. He did suffer quite a bit of losses there. Actually, one Mutalisk surviving, but it really doesn't matter that much, because it's Jaedong's turn to now make his timing attack at this 3rd base, or this would-be 3rd base.
Yeah, man, without those 4 High Templars, his Hydras are going to be that much more powerful.
Right.
And, you know, he's had his 3rd gas for so long that the Muta's not worth as much as these High Templars are to Stork.
Certainly. You know, that's one problem for High Templars. They're low on HP. They're kind of clunky. So, you know, that can be pretty tough to deal with. Especially against somebody like Jaedong, who's going to flank you perfectly and target fire your weakest units.
Absolutely. You see the speed overlords going down, scouting the path for these Hydras.
I'm curious if he got dropped.
I don't think so, but that would be interesting if he drops a couple lurkers behind that base, and those cannons are going to be in trouble then.
Okay, we do see excuse me, we're getting a shot of the in-game screen. Okay, here is the observer now coming out here. So he has 2, and he is going to do a drop. He spotted it. That's what I was wondering.
This is absolutely huge.
Moving in here, getting closer and closer. Is he prepared? Another cannon coming up here.
But Stork sees it coming. He's moving around. He does have some zealots behind his natural, but will it be enough? Lurkers burrowing here is going to be huge. No High Templars on this high ground to help him deal with it.
He could storm from the low ground, theoretically. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. There we have 1.
Those lurkers, they could do a lot of damage here. Take out these probes with Stork running them away pretty quickly, dealing with that drop reasonably well.
Very nice here. 1 DT blocking the entrance to the expansion. Jaedong trying to attack in 2 places at once, so that hopefully Stork's army will only be in 1 location. But the DT drops. Stork's strategy is not going to work. Jaedong's strategy is not going to work.
Wow, beautiful block here. Beautiful block. He does have some High Templars up on this high ground. Nice storm right there. Really damaging 3 lurkers and a bunch of Hydras. Jaedong is being held off at every turn, and now it is 3 base against 3 base.
Okay, he's going to try to go around to the other side. This could be a mistake by Jaedong, depending on the angle in which Stork's units approach this scenario. And I don't know if this is going to be too effective. He doesn't seem to have Storm in that High Templar, trying to micro it away. He's going to have some good storms here. Where are the storms?
Oh, pretty good storms right there. The DT falling, but more and more Hydras coming out. Beautiful storms right there. And Stork, can he hold this attack? I think so.
Brilliant play here. Actually, big blunder, though, by Jaedong. Brilliant play by Stork. Stork has actually held this off. Now, that's a lot of units, and it doesn't just mean that Stork survived that battle. It means that Jaedong's going to have a hard time getting that additional base because he doesn't have these units to defend anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know what to say. Oh, he's still not mining out there. That's kind of a big deal because I thought, you know what, this is 3 base. There's 3 base this whole time. Stork's going to be pulling way ahead, but he is not, in fact, mining from one of his bases.
This is true.
So that is another step up for Jaedong.
Well, as you can see, Jaedong pretty behind here in food. Normally you want to be about 20 food behind a Zerg against Protoss. We don't want to, but that's normally what happens.
And finally clearing that out. Ooh.
Looks like we're going to have another drop over here. Jaedong's going to have to keep going with this initial strategy because otherwise Stork could push out and actually crush him. Here's another storm, I believe.
Nope, no storm there. Would have been awesome, though.
Fooled me.
And that is a big clump of Hydras. I'm just waiting for a storm to plaster him.
Nice escape here by Jaedong. This is really tough for Stork. So many locations he's trying to defend at once. And actually, he might actually try to go for the main. That would be unusual, but it would actually be a very powerful attack.
Oh, he would be flanked by the 2 high grounds there. He decides to pull back a little bit. And, you know, Jaedong's doing a great job. He only has 3 bases, keeping Stork from mining always because he's having attack here. Beautiful size storm right there. Huge, huge move by Stork.
Very nice play. I believe that Lurker's still in his main base, unless I'm mistaken. We don't have a shot of it yet, but that's something else to bear in mind at this moment. In fact, Jaedong driving out Stork's army. More units coming in here. He's going to have to retreat to the cannons very quickly. Only 5 cannons. That may not be enough.
Awesome move sending in the Zerglings there when he was very Dragoon heavy, not mining from his main base. And Stork, he is, you know, he has more supply. He should have more bases, but Jaedong just perfect reinforcements and perfect drops to keep his mining way down.
And this Lurker remains here. It will be picked up by this Dragoon. It looked like that Dragoon didn't fire once. It looked like it sneezed or something. But it did manage to kill that Lurker off. And he will once again have 3 functional bases. But Jaedong doesn't have a 4th.
He doesn't have a 4th, but he has a lot of mobility with these Overlords.
Certainly.
And, you know, the way he's drawing around Stork's army wherever he wants it, Jaedong may be able to just really outmaneuver him with these speed Overlords and maybe drop again at this expansion.
This is very true. +3 attack. And I think he is going to go for another drop up here.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
No, Stork's army all at his 3rd base. If he drops again on the 2nd base of Stork, Stork is going to have to run back around. If he loses it, look at that beautiful scouting. He senses something is wrong, but can he get up there in time to make a difference?
One problem with Stork's wall-in, I guess you could call it, is that it really doesn't allow units to get back there quickly. Jaedong actually backs up. I don't know if that was worth it. I think he actually could have gotten in there, maybe even taken out the Nexus. You know, tough to say, though.
Yeah, he saw a few cannons there. He may have only Zerglings. We only saw him load up Zerglings if he has no Hydras. May be hard to take out the 4 or so cannons that are in the mineral line. So it may have been a good move for him there. But Jaedong, are you going to expand again, man? You need another base, I think.
He can't stay even on bases forever. Now, Protoss is pretty high up in upgrades. And with that being said, Protoss can be considered comfortably with 3 bases. Zerg cannot.
Yeah, Jaedong's going to have to make some sort of new move here. +3 attack for Stork. And what does he do?
Oh, cannon rushing the opening expansion over here. That could actually really hurt Jaedong because if those cannons get up, that's going to be another late expansion. But an Overlord might spot it just in time.
Yeah, man. Oh, nice storm drop on the natural. Wow, kills a ton of drones right there. Click on that Archon, please. I really want to know, but it looks like at least 9 drones or so got stormed. And that is kind of huge here, man. He is barely mining. A 7.
He does take out the cannons, but remember, those drones could have been transferred to the expansion. Lots of kills. There's 10 kills on this Archon. Now 11. Okay, this Archon is now a serial killer.
Wow, a lot of kills there. And he is going to run through and try to take out this new Jaedong expansion while taking zone in the top right. Jaedong taking that out with some speedlings. We're not watching that right now, but Stork taking out this 4th base of Jaedong is a huge move.
Again, Jaedong is kind of stuck now. He's slowly becoming broke. Defiler pops out. And he's going to have to storm
wow.
there. Oh, this could barely save the expansion in time. He's going to have to have perfect storms.
Lurker Swarm, man. This stuff can hold off just about anything in the game.
Nice drop here, but it's going to be held up by these Archons. Now he has to get that base. As Protoss, you do not want to let the Zerg take that 4th base.
You know, he's very Dragoon heavy right now. There's a lot of Lurkers up there. These Zealots going to be sent in.
Yeah, he's going to have to use these Zealots to take out what he can with those. And had he got the Nidus Canal a second earlier, this expansion would be in shambles.
Yeah. You know what? This is really amazing. He is barely holding Stork off right here. And I think some sort of drop just happened at the 3rd base.
Oh!
We did miss it.
Don't know if he actually got anything. We didn't get a shot of that, but had he gotten any more drones, that would mean he's even in a worse position. Nice storm there! Nice storm again!
Wow. Beautiful moves by both players here. And the Storm's really cleaning up. Stork, much better army control than we saw last game.
I think at this point in time, Stork might need to get a Dark Archon and start feedbacking these Defilers. The Dark Swarm is really hurting him here. Stork essentially has a superior army and position here, but it's the Dark Swarm that's allowing these Lurkers to hold up way more than they should.
Yeah, you know what? Right now, he wants to get those observers. It's a big deal, but there's too many observers. Even if he gets 2 of them, Stork's still going to be able to see what's going on.
Okay, he's starting to get up there. He needs to take out these Lurkers. He needs to take out the Nidus Canal. There's not much time left. And he's going to be driven back here. What a shocker against Stork. Barely. Poor Stork. He was so close to taking out that expansion. You know,
Yeah.
Nidus Canals, they die faster than Warcraft 3 buildings when they're constructing, die.
Yeah, they
very
die
fragile.
quick, man.
So, wow.
You know, this is a life or death struggle right now for Jaedong. You know, he's way behind in supply, about 40 supply down, which is pretty huge, I gotta say. But he's defending this 4th base. If he can keep the 4th base up, there's still hope. If he loses it, the game is over. But wait a minute. If you look at the minimap real quick, Stork has mined out his main and his natural. Only got his 3rd base left, so he's only mining from 1 base right now.
Oh, he's getting the DTs out. 2 DTs are out. The drop has been somewhat of a success. Oh, but did he even really need to do that? There's nothing else there. He will take out these drones, mining some Vespian gas, and in fact, Stork is going to try to go for the kill. Neither of these guys have very much money left. If Stork takes out the main, he probably won't even need to get an expansion. Nice storming.
And he has a lot of Dragoons there. Jaedong needs some spellcasters to have any chance of holding this off, but it looks like Stork is going to be able to overwhelm at this point.
Very nice player by Stork. Stork is going to go for this expansion down here. I'm surprised he didn't go for the main.
And just target that Nidus Canal already.
Oh, and he's going to have to pull back here. He's going for the Nidus. It's good!
Huge storm all over those Lurkers, and a nice Dark Storm, but too many Zealots sitting there. It looks like he has just enough melee units to power through what Jaedong has left.
Well, I got to say, though, remember, Jaedong still has the working base. Stork is starting to get a little bit more poor here, and Jaedong might have mustered up just enough Zerglings to hold up this attack. But remember, the Nidus is gone. He could actually whip around now and go to the bottom left location. Okay, no, he's going to go for the main.
And he has a lot of Archons, a lot of High Templars, and he is taking that 3rd base. That 3rd base, or rather that 4th base, so important right now. Only mining off 1. Jaedong off 2.5 right now. Jaedong, for a minute here, he's going to have a better economy, but still over 30 supply down on Stor.
Switching to Zealot Archon, the right move to do when your Zerg opponent is low on resources because they're dependent on Dark Swarm and Zerglings to hold off attacks because it is so cost effective. And he is cleaning up over here. Now, which location he's going to go for? He already got the Nidus.
No, 40 supply down on Jaedong, and he's getting really low. He's below 70 right now, and Stork securing this base. Really big deal. Attacking the Sunkens. You know what? He needs to take out this base. If he loses all these units, Jaedong's going to be in a great position.
Nice storming here. I do believe he's barely going to take out this expansion unless some more Zerglings come here for a surround, and I don't see that happening here.
The Defiler being really annoying, blocking the Archon from getting to where he wants to. And a few Hydras going to really do a lot of damage to those Archons. One of the only units Zerg has that can really effectively deal with Archons.
You know what? I'm kind of surprised he didn't target fire the drones there with his Archons. I think that was a questionable decision.
And look at that. Jaedong holds.
Yeah, unbelievable. He does actually hold that off. Jaedong really spending his money well here. Actually, both these guys are.
Yeah, it's not too hard when you're barely mining, though. Look at these guys. They have 56 supply and 89 supply. A lot of High Templars popping out for Stork. He has a lot of gas left still, not a lot of minerals, so we're gonna see a lot of Archons, a lot of High Templars, and nice little attack there with those Dark Templars.
The Dark Templars clean up these Zerglings easily. That was a little bit of a blunder there by Jaedong. We don't normally see him make moves like that. Again, he should have attacked those drones at the expansion.
Yeah.
Because every drone counts at this point in time. It's almost like we're back to early game.
Indeed. You know, he doesn't want to be spending every mineral he has on remaking the miners that gather those minerals. He needs to make a lot of units because Stork still has superior supply, and he has a lot of spellcasters mixed in that Jaedong really just needs to overwhelm.
Again, we don't see any Dark Archons, so it might be dangerous for Stork if we do see Defilers at this new expansion for Stork.
But Stork kind of senses that. He has sent some units down, and here comes the Dark Templar.
Okay, 1 kill, and it looks like he's going to get at least 3 here before being driven out. Oh, it would be great if he could get that Defiler. Even better if he could get the Storm Drop off.
Huge move right there. He just killed so many drones. Wow. Jaedong is in trouble. His supply is doubled.
Jaedong is really starting to hurt here. He has to take out this expansion over here. Nice lurker drop over here. Here's another thing that could come back and help him out a lot. 1 storm would kill that. Clearly this Templar doesn't have the energy. Every worker counts. 5 kills for that lurker. Definitely a mission accomplished there.
High Templar running through buildings. And he picks it up and runs it away. I like that move right there. He is really, he's just being very careful, doing everything he can to, just conserve what he has. Only 64 supply. Extremely scrappy game. This is actually an amazing game, I have to tell you.
This is an awesome game. We've had so many good games here. Just gets better and better and better every day. We're here at the grand finals. WCG 2009 in Chengdu, China. Just completely awesome game here.
Now we see Stork thinking about taking another base. His original 3rd base near his main, that is just about mined out now, so he's going to be back down to just 1 mining base. Meanwhile, Jaedong really down to 1 as well. And Stork, it is time. He's moving in, but Dark Swarm and Lurkers, man.
Oh! Drop over here at the expansion, too. That's really going to hurt him. Now, Jaedong needs to secure this bottom left base. He has a hatchery up there, but can Stork potentially take it out? Uh-oh. Shuttle over here. Are we going to see another storm drop?
Scourge move out in the wrong direction on the patrol. And will they get it? 2 High Templars popping out.
Nice play there.
Wow, 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 wow.
Whoa, 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 whoa. OMG. Okay, this would be an ideal moment for Stork to then try to slip into the bottom left spot here because the Zerglings had to go take out those Templars. He's moving in there. He's going to try to surround
left with the army. No Scourge in sight, though.
There it is. He might kill these lurkers right before. Yep, it's okay. Another Berserker catches up. Is he going to go up here? It looks like he is. He's going to go for the Defiler mound. Excuse me, the Nidus Canal where Defilers should come at him.
Wow.
Very nice play.
Plastering the map with Storm. Stork, beautiful, beautiful play this game. And it looks like Jaedong is just about out of supply.
Jaedong is really hurting here.
But can he hold this?
I can't believe this.
Wait,
what?
He has like no units and 2 Zerglings against an Archon.
He has to get more units over to that location.
Zealots on the way. Jaedong right now, by the way, not mining. 46 minerals, 24 supply. Looks like this is just about over. It couldn't have been closer, man. This is absolutely insane.
This is unbelievable.
This might have been the best game so far at WCG.
I know. Maybe I think he's even better than PJ against Bisu.
Yeah.
This expansion bites the dust. All Jaedong has left is the expansion slightly north of what we just saw get raised.
Bringing every unit he has left on the map to this location.
And fortunately for him, he does have Zealots over here.
There's a Terran player he'd stop.
GG! Unbelievable game. Stork got the advantage. He didn't always have it the entire game, but he certainly played better than in the previous game. What a close match. It could have been anybody's game until the very last 30 seconds.
That game, there was just so many tactics used by Jaedong there. I am so impressed with his play. Stork just played solid. That game, a lot better army control than we saw on Tau Cross when he did that blunderous attack. I'm just so impressed with both these players.
These guys are playing the best games of their lives here. Stork 1-1 right now with Jaedong. This is actually how many people have just showed up at the event to watch, or at least as much as our camera guy can capture. But you might have to go actually into outer space just to see how many people are actually down here.
Everyone in China is faced towards this.
This is unreal. China clearly rapidly becoming one of the leaders in the world in esports here.
Yeah, absolutely. Jaedong not too happy with that game.
WCG 2009, that sign tricked me for a second. I almost said 2008. Here in Chengdu, China, we're at the grand finals. If you're just now joining us, Stork against Jaedong.